Absence is becoming one of the UK's biggest operational problems in workplaces right now. Not just because people are off, but because it quietly drives costs, delays, and pressure onto everyone else who's not absent. And the data backs it up. UK workplace health and safety statistics estimate that there's around 40.1 million working days lost due to work-related ill health and injury. And data from an absence management survey shows that 55% of UK organisations are experiencing difficulties due to the rising costs associated with absence. So in this video, we're going to look at what's really driving the new absence problems, but more importantly, 3 practical fixes you can implement at team level to help to reduce absences. Now, most organizations treat absence like a HR process, which is usually reactive. But we'll look at prevention, which is proactive. It's about ensuring to implement things that reduce pressure early, support people properly, and stop issues turning into repeat absences. But let's get clear on what the specific issues are. Because UK employers are reporting that long-term absence is increasing and the health drivers are shifting from more minor illnesses to more complex issues like mental health and musculoskeletal disorders. In fact, stress, depression, and anxiety are responsible for approximately 22.1 million working days lost each year. And musculoskeletal disorders are responsible for 7.1 million working days lost. And one of the many reasons that workplaces need to take this seriously is that when someone is off due to absence, you don't just lose the capacity of that person, but that also puts strain on the rest of the team. So let's look at 3 fixes to help reduce workplace absence, resulting in healthier and happier teams. 1. In most teams, absence doesn't start with someone waking up ill out of nowhere. It often starts weeks earlier when the team is quietly running on empty. And nobody wants to be the person that says, this is too much. So the first fix is to protect capacity. And here's a simple habit you can implement for it. Why not every week, as part of a regular team meeting, have a capacity check? Only 5 or 10 minutes, but see how people are feeling. See where team members are at with their workload. If work keeps getting added without other work being completed or reduced, it stresses people out. If people are too stressed, many are just going to take time off work, which isn't good for anyone. The simple act of helping teams to manage their workload can not only support their health and well-being, but reduce their chance of feeling overwhelmed and ultimately reduce the chance of them taking time off work and being absent. If people are overloaded, the response shouldn't be just push through it. It needs to be, how can we adjust our plan? How can I help support you? 2. Now the second fix is in line with the first, but a lot of pressure at work doesn't always come from the workload itself, but from the work being harder than it needs to be. That's why workplaces need to remove friction. Friction is all the little things that slow teams down every day. And these friction points often cause stress and frustration. When these friction points become normal, people just end up working longer hours. And what does that do? Contribute to the stress buildup, ultimately increasing their chances of burnout and then taking time off work. So here's one thing teams can do. Each week, everyone adds 1 friction point. Then, in the weekly meeting, pick a friction point as a team and then implement a plan to remove it. Simple. An example of a friction point could be, we don't know who owns this task, so it never gets done, or we have to keep redoing work because expectations aren't clear. So then how can we make expectations clearer so that people understand it properly? Now, clear communication is essential to help reduce friction and help teams stay on top of their work, reducing their stress and ultimately reducing time off work. But when teams aren't given the tools to communicate effectively, it can harm workload in more ways than we realize. That's why one of the popular workshops I deliver for teams is called the Art of Workplace Communication. Teams are given the tools to communicate more effectively. If this is something your workplace would invest in, head to the link in the description for more information and to get in touch. 3. Now the third fix is something that make the first 2 stick, and that is to build manager capability. If managers aren't equipped to support their teams, then teams slowly fail. Managers are so important when it comes to supporting team members. And in fact, it's been said that a manager has as much impact on an individual's mental health as their spouse or partner, and more than their doctor or therapist. So give managers the tools to support their teams, to spot signs early, to help prevent catastrophic time off work before it's too late. And here's a simple framework managers can use to check in on their team. And it consists of 3 steps. Check, clarify, adjust. Check how team members are doing, see where they're at, clarify what challenges they're facing and if they're coping with it okay, and if they're clear on everything they need to do, and then adjust accordingly. Now, these steps obviously aren't going to stop absence entirely, but they are going to work towards helping it. But one of the best ways to help support teams with well-being and performance is to implement well-being activities as part of a team meeting. And for 7 team meeting ideas to improve well-being and performance, check out this video here. But remember, a happy workforce is a productive workforce.